when I was struggling with this, and the kindest thing that my now ex-wife said to me is, she's like, "Go, you need to go to therapy," because she knew I was really bad suicidal, and the suicidal ideation was getting so bad. And I went, and and I tried to save my marriage. I spent $10,000 in therapy trying to save it, and at the expense of me. Even like I was going to live a watered down version of me, to make my spouse happy, to make my family happy, to like be that, because I still have, for now, I still have a business on Main Street, Goodland, Kansas. And so that was a challenge. And through the years of working through therapy and me starting, hormone therapy, and then I got outed by a healthcare practitioner in the community, which wasn't a fun experience. And because it sucked, because it was like, that's my story. I get to tell it my way, but instead, and that shook a community of less than 4,000. Let me tell you.
How did that go down?
Oh, didn't go so well. Initially it was like, that can't be true. And, and initially I was,
because you were a rather dominant influence, because you have the clinic there on Main Street. You got okay.
I'd been serving on the hospital board for 5-6 years then at that point in time, and serving as the treasurer of a $20 million a year hospital board, a critical access hospital. So, I was in Kiwanis, I was in, Rotary. I did all those traditional roles.
Wow.
I joined the Masonic Lodge, for God's sake.
Shut up.
No, I did. I wore the apron. I wore the apron. I'm just telling you what, I did everything I could to like literally outrun who I was.
Did they take it back?
No, they didn't. They were actually really kind. And so I did resign, and because I knew all of a sudden the state was trying to figure out what to do with me, because they're like, well, maybe I think that's what they use, can join the sister group or whatever, the Eastern Star. And so they weren't sure what to do with me. And again, like I become this like talking point for the Masonic Lodge in Kansas of, that's me, for anybody that listens to your podcast. So I graciously said, I'm going to step out and not cause any more drama, because I know it was going to be ugly. They didn't know what to do with me, right? Like they do have a thing that they'll let trans males in, right? That has been a new thing that the lodge does allow. But now that I'm trans female, they're like, we don't know what to do with you. And so they just kind of looked at me like the extra zoo exhibit that there wasn't room for. And so, but
it's a male dominant, right?
Oh, it's only male. It's only
so
male. So I wouldn't be in there anyway, because I'm not male. And that's the thing. How did that make
you feel? Or you were like, I mean, did it feel, I guess I just want to say, in those moments, people like, no, there's one side is like, fight to stay there and protest. And then there's that side, well, it's a culture that, how do I turn that over? So did you feel like it was unfair, or just that it was no longer for you?
It was no longer for me. It wasn't for me. And here's the thing, like I was still running at that point in time in my mid-30s. Like I was still trying to run from who I was. I thought I could outrun it. I thought that this was a secret in my closet that I was going to keep there, and I was going to take this to my grave that only a handful of people knew about. And that was my goal. But when I got outed, that was put into question. Like I said, I was a third-degree Mason. And I mean, so it's just all those things are just, I know, like I did everything but join the military and trying to outrun who I am. Like that'll make me macho. And but that's common. I mean, look, we have 15,000 active trans troops currently. And so again, and a lot of and great soldiers, great sailors, great Marines, everything. And
they don't want the spotlight shit.
No, they just want to serve.
Right. They literally just like, leave us alone, let us serve.
Yes.
Stop making us a political thing.
Yeah.
Just let us serve.
Absolutely. Which is exactly what Pat Roberts sent me in an email one time when I asked him to fight it, is we were going to let these political ideations be able to define our military as the oldest ranking Marine at that point in time in the Senate. And I thought, that's just ridiculous. I still got the email. And so it just
were you surprised?
No, not at all. Now, and Pat Roberts is from my town of Dodge City. Not that he ever stayed there.
You're like, I just want to see what your reaction is.
I did. I wanted to see what it was going to be. And I'm like, well, that didn't shock me. I mean, even to this day, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have to find a friend to go to the bathroom, for God's sakes, right? If I'm in Wichita currently, it's illegal to go for me to use the women's restroom. Like all I want to do is pee and wash my hands. That's all I want to do. And the thing is like, I have to, it's like I always joke with my friends, like it's 2PC me, like I have to find a friend, a buddy system just to go to the restroom. So I limit my water intake and what I eat based on where I'm going to be. And so when I went to the Chiefs game,
I didn't even think of I
didn't, I'll go find a family restroom in Kansas City, Missouri, right? I'm not going to use the restroom, the women's restroom in Kansas City, Missouri. Now, when I went to the Broncos game, heck yeah, I used the women's restroom. And so because I've got more protection on that side of the state line. And so, these imaginary lines, it's amazing, I'm protected, I'm safe. Like I didn't have to find a friend to just go use the restroom. And they're all single stall anyway, so it's no big deal. The only area. Let's be honest, you are safer using the restroom with me than you are any elected official, any member of the cloth, anybody that's ever been a pastor, and a lot of school officials. So I mean, the thing is that the numbers just don't add up when they talk about us like we're sexual predators.
Right. It's like, and I think a lot of it, those are just fear-based reactions to things, and these that maybe these one, it was in LA or something where it was somebody that was taking a shower or locker room or something, and I go, to me that seems like when we changed a dress code policy and people are like, why are we changing or having a dress code policy? It's because one asshole just fucked it up for the rest of us.
That's right. That one person.
And it's just like that one person. I'm like, can we not focus that was one person? This isn't like a generalized thing that, and make sure I'm using the right term, that pre-surgery. Could I say that?
I think so. I mean, yeah, because I mean, it's they just
pre-surgery, that they're just going into these restrooms and like these showers, like that's not happening.
Right.
And I don't know. And even in that, it was LA, but I think these stories get concocted that it's just, there's just all this, there's just all this taboo happening in locker rooms now. And I'm like, what? Where?
Yeah. Like when I